What if the fairy tales you grew up with secretly carried stories of queer love and hidden desire? Hi there, I'm Chris with a K, and welcome back to This Week in Queer History, where we celebrate queer moments and icons from the past, all things that I wish I knew as a young gay kid growing up in conservative America. This week, we're celebrating the publication anniversary of the iconic story, The Little Mermaid, written by the legendary fairy tale author Hans Christian Andersen. And as we dig into it, we'll explore the queer significance hidden in this timeless story. Join me as we unpack the enchanting layers of longing, identity, and sacrifice that can be found in this beautiful masterpiece.
This week in queer history, stories told with love and glee.
Hans Christian Andersen, the celebrated Danish author who gifted the world with timeless classics like The Ugly Duckling, Thumbelina, and The Little Mermaid, began his journey from humble beginnings. Born in 1805 to a shoemaker father and a washerwoman mother, Andersen's early life was anything but glamorous. However, his passion for storytelling transcended the limitations of poverty, leading him to literary fame. On April 7th, 1837, Andersen published The Little Mermaid, a captivating tale of a young mermaid who dreams of life beyond the ocean depths after falling in love with a prince. On the surface, it's a simple fairy tale of love and sacrifice, but beneath the waves lies a deeper narrative of yearning, identity, and the high price of transforming oneself to find acceptance, something which deeply resonates for queer audiences. Andersen himself experienced profound emotional struggle, especially regarding his unrequited love for Edvard Cullen. Yep, another man, scandalous. This can be seen in vulnerable, heartfelt letters he sent to Edvard. His correspondence reveals sentiments beyond friendship, writing, "I languish for you as for a pretty Calabrian wench. My sentiments for you are those of a woman." Scholars today interpret The Little Mermaid through a queer lens, seeing the mermaid's transformation as symbolic of Andersen's personal desire to express himself authentically in a world unwilling to accept him fully. The mermaid's ultimate sacrifice, exchanging her voice for legs, mirrors the queer experience of sacrificing parts of ourselves for acceptance. Who hasn't felt like they've lost their voice, their authenticity, trying to fit into societal expectations? Modern interpretations have embraced this queer reading, emphasizing Andersen's struggles with love, rejection, and identity as central themes. Events like Hans Christian Andersen Festival have celebrated these themes through artistic performances, exhibits, and academic panels, showcasing the continuing relevance of his stories in contemporary discussions around queer identity. The impact of The Little Mermaid extends beyond literature, permeating cultural narratives and inspiring new generations. This tale and Andersen's broader legacy challenges us to see fairy tales not just as children's stories, but as profound reflections of our collective longing for acceptance, love, and identity. I've always had a strong connection to The Little Mermaid. First of all, it was published on my birthday, April 7th. Hey, give it up, Aries. But like many of my generation, Disney introduced me to Ariel in 1989, opening up my simple and poor world to a world of rich imagination. Growing up on a farm, money was tight, but my mom always found a way for us kids to have limitless imagination. And when The Little Mermaid finally came out on VHS, which, you know, those chunky tapes that you'd shove into the VCR and you'd pray that the last person rewound. Anyway, when it came to home video, even more magic entered my life. Here's how obsessed I was. I somehow figured out how to record the audio from our VHS onto a cassette tape by connecting my grandparents' stereo to the VHS with RCA cables. And once I had bootlegged the entire movie's audio, I mean, literally I had to record the entire movie's audio, my siblings, my cousin, and we color coordinated our outfits to each character, and we lip synced the entire movie for my parents and my grandparents. The entire movie. Yeah. And no, I wasn't Ariel. Surprise. I was Sebastian, okay? With all of my amazing 12-year-old mannerisms. And this all reminds me of the power of creativity and imagination. Ariel's journey was a guidepost, a hero's journey reflecting my own inner struggles for authenticity and for self-expression. Discovering just recently Hans Christian Andersen's own personal story, the depth of his longing, and his courageous vulnerability and love, it deepens my admiration for him and the story of the Little Mermaid even more. Andersen dreamed, loved, lost, and channeled that pain into art that continues to inspire. For Andersen, love wasn't easy. His one-sided affection for Edvard Cullen echoes the heartbreak that many queer people know intimately. But Andersen transformed his pain into beauty, his longing into stories that speak to generations. Andersen didn't find reciprocation from the love he desired most, but his journey gave us timeless tales reflecting our deepest desires and struggles, affirming our right to love and exist authentically. His stories and his hidden truths provided the roadmap that I needed growing up, a reassurance that our journeys, though filled with struggles, are deeply meaningful. Andersen taught me the value of the journey itself, the profound courage it takes to love authentically, even without guarantees. So what do you think of Hans Christian Andersen's queer narratives? Did you see your experiences reflected in The Little Mermaid? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed today's deep dive into queer history, you might want to check out this video right over here. And you can always sign up for the newsletter for even more queer history. Link is down in the description below. Until next time, stay strong, stay bold, and keep making history.